Leviticus is Christ calling his own to consecration. The book speaks of the atonement of Christ. It speaks of the sacrifices that were made. There are three things that every sacrifice had. The first one is identification, and that was the offerer putting their hands on the head, and the family all stood around, and they put their hands on the head of the sacrificial lamb or bullock or whatever. The second item was substitution. That innocent animal would bore the sins of others. It was a picture of Christ. And finally, the whole concept of propitiation is the blood was a visible evidence that life had been offered. And only the blood of Jesus can satisfy the wrath of a holy God. That's why never in the Old Testament was anyone's sins taken away. God just covered them. He just put another coat of paint over them, the pain of the blood of Christ. It wasn't until the cross that God erased them, that he removed them, that they no longer have any effect on us, because Jesus took them away. He bore them away. Well, the book of Leviticus is also very much about priests, and because we are a kingdom of priests, 1 Peter 2:9 says, you and I in a New Testament church are to live this way. And listen, our life is to be a sacrifice to God. Our devotion is to be like burnt offering to God. Our service is to be poured out like the drink offerings were. In a drink offering, that's a significant picture. If you want to know how God expects you to serve in the church, take a glass of water and go out in the Sahara Desert and dump it out. It goes, and it's gone. You can't get it back. Even if you dug through, you couldn't get it back. God says, I want you to pour out your service to me and pour it out completely, and don't try and get any of it back. You know, when we try and get a little glory for it, or when we want someone to recognize us, or pat us, or say thank you, or come up and say, what a great job you did, we're digging in the dirt trying to get it back. God says, your service in the church is to be like a drink offering. It is to be utterly poured out. The Apostle Paul says, my life is poured out. He said, I can't take it back. I'm not trying to save it. I'm giving it completely to Christ. Our deeds are to be continual spiritual sacrifices. Our prayers are like sweet-smelling incense, and our worship is like a heaven-sent praise offering. Those, by the way, are the different offerings of Leviticus.